Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening for the On-Air Daily News Hour. I'm Naima Latif, and if you've been paying attention for the last several months, of course, I've been certainly pushing a theme, and on the On-Air Daily News, we're reporting on something that we believe needs to happen everywhere. Grow what you eat. That's the theme. Of course, we have started a campaign for urban farming because it's time that we took responsibility for our food production. When many people panicked when it was stated that the SNAP benefits, that government food assistance program, was suspended, that gave us a chance to see how deeply dependent we have become on other people supplying our basic necessities. And yet, so many of us live where there is food growing possibilities because we have land, we have soil, we have the means to grow what we eat, but we've lost the knowledge. Well, today's generation is realizing that the struggle isn't always about marching and protesting. Sometimes it's about rolling up your sleeves and digging in the dirt. So today we want to bring you a young farmer who is putting his energy into creating the things that we eat so that we can stop being dependent and start being self-sufficient. And he's teaching this skill so that we can relearn what our ancestors had already mastered, and we can begin to feed ourselves. So let's welcome to the show today, Bryan Lindsey, young farmer and agriculturalist and teacher, and someone who's going to show us how to grow what we eat. Thank you so much for joining us on the On-Air
Thank
Daily.
you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. My
Well,
name
tell
is
us,
Bryan Lindsey.
yes.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. How did you get started in something like food growing, agriculture, especially since so many of us are cityfied and urbanized? What was your motivation?
Um, so I come from a family of farmers, but also when I was around the age of 16, the word agriculture just popped up in my head one day. So I just decided to Google it, and it kind of just went from there. And I'm 28 in September, so I've been doing it for quite a while now. I do agriculture and solar, and it's just the need and the want of producing your own food and your own resources. And it's just something mind stimulating about not only just producing your own food, but just the independence that comes behind it. And so that's just something that I want to share with others. I enjoy it myself. I've been doing it for quite some time. I teach it. I do it for clients. I've built farms across the country. Soon I'm going to be traveling international to do farms as well. I'm into renewable energy and solar energy, producing your own energy. So it's just the prospect of producing your own resources. That's really just what I'm really big on.
Mm. Well, that's a very critical decision to be a part of creating what is needed. And we appreciate the fact that you're teaching, because the next generation needs to see the earth differently. We need to prepare our young people to repair the earth that we have carelessly destroyed. Definitely, we push solar power, clean energy, the methods of providing the resources we need to energize our planet without destroying it, and then producing food in a way that is wholesome, and the absence of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, is something that this next generation needs to grow up with, which means we need to grow our own food. So
Yes.
you have been a part of the farming communities, and as you say, you grew up from a family of farmers. What was it like growing up? Did you see crops growing, and did you just learn the process from watching your parents and other relatives?
So it's interesting because as a child, I grew up in the countryside of Illinois. So I saw farmers all the time, people growing their own food and producing their own food. But at the time, I wasn't really interested in it. I thought it was kind of boring. But then as I got a little older, I started to realize the importance of it. Growing your own food is a necessity for life. If you can't produce your own food, then you're dependent on the system, the grocery store chains. As we remember during COVID, the grocery store shelves were empty. When the COVID pandemic happened, people were panic buying, and I saw single mothers in the grocery stores crying because they couldn't get baby formula or food for their kids, and it's just we need to learn how to grow our own food. And so during COVID, an older lady from my church and we would garden every Wednesday. I would go over to her house and we would produce our own food between my backyard and her backyard. And she would cook the food. I would grow it with her, and we just grew food throughout the whole summer. And we did that almost pretty much every year, during the 3 years or so of COVID. So for us, there wasn't really a need to go to the grocery store. Um, so that's just the importance of being able to grow your own food. Growing your own food is a life skill that you need to learn, just how swimming is a life skill that you need to learn, because swimming can save your life if you are ever in a situation to where you're near water. Um, Same thing with growing food when there's a lack of resources. Um, Also, when people's SNAP benefits get cut off, producing your own food, that stuff matters. So.
Yes. Well, one of the things that we have often commented on is the fact that in our schools, we're not teaching survival skills. And this is why many of our children are bored. They don't see themselves learning anything that's relevant to life. And when you're doing something like growing food, that's so basic to existence. Why are we doing these things? Why are we learning these things? What's the ultimate thing we need to know how to do? Survive.
Oh,
Which, why don't we just cut to the chase and just deal with what we need? How to feed ourselves, how to clothe ourselves, how to make shelter for ourselves, how to survive in whatever climate we're in. If that's the basic thing we need to do, we don't need to earn money to pay for it. We need to just learn how to do the thing. And then we don't have to pay somebody
yes.
else.
So those are
Duh.
skills that are basically they're taken for granted because we're used to always having them there. But it's like if they're not there one day, then everything else collapses around you. Agriculture is the backbone of society. No society or country can function without it. Just like a household, your country is only as strong as your ability to feed its people. So yeah, so everything comes from agriculture. Certain medicines, from clothing, our food, everything. Agriculture is the backbone of society. So it's just being able to know that skill, learn that skill is pivotal to society. The average age of a farmer is 64 years old. A lot of them are going into retirement. And one of the biggest problems that they're facing is that their children don't want to take over the farms. So a lot of farms are closing down. They're not producing anymore, and now we're relying on exports from other countries around the world. And so we still are an agricultural powerhouse, but not to the extent that we should be. We're very, very reliant on exports from other countries. And so a lot of these farmlands are shut down. They're being turned into new development or just completely just abandoned, not no longer used anymore. And to be honest with you, a lot of the food that comes from the farms anyway are GMO, and not good for you and sprayed heavily with pesticides. So producing your own organic food, um, is very pivotal to society. We need better alternative solutions, and that's one of the biggest things on what sustainability is all about, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Well, absolutely. I think sustainability is pretty much what we're striving for right now. And the point that you made about the farmers and the age, that's kind of frightening. That's
Yeah.
one that's one profession that we don't need to see people retire from and leave with no one to take their place. So teaching young people is a critical need, especially because they are the ones that are going to inherit this planet. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll show a little bit of some of the work we're doing with students at Betty Shabazz International Charter School. Of course, always my favorite school because they're always so open and willing to do innovative things. And now we're working with them and doing the Grow What You Eat program. And they had such enthusiasm as they were learning about the process of growing food. We'll share a bit of that when we come back. You are watching the On Air Daily News Hour, and Bryan Lindsey, young farmer, teacher, agriculturalist, he's here with us to encourage us to grow what you eat. So we'll be right back after this quick break. So simply stay with us.
Have you seen all the solar farms popping up everywhere? You know, the big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You know you're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
And we are back. You are watching the On Air Daily News Hour. I'm Naima Latif, and we're grateful to be joined with Bryan Lindsey, who's doing some fabulous work in farming and teaching those who realize they need to learn how to grow what they eat. So we, of course, realize that the next generation is going to make a major difference. And because we are realizing this reality, we are grateful that they are willing to learn. So let's take a little look at, we got an organization, the Global Community Alliance, Indigenous Brothers and Sisters Building Communities. And we've been pushing the program, Grow What You Eat. We have a whole series on the Female Solution website. And of course, we're expanding because we want young people to see themselves as being responsible for feeding themselves and learning the process. So we will be at the Betty Shabazz School this summer, and we'll be giving them a chance to learn this process so that they can see themselves feeding themselves. So here we are. Let's take a look.
I'm Mama Naima Latif, and as you can see from my Betty Shabazz shirt, I've been here before. But what we want to do today is grow the food that you all are going to eat in the cafeteria this fall. So you'll be able to tell your friends, I grew this. So we have things that would go on a salad. We got lettuce, tomatoes, and bell peppers. And then we also have things that would go in your, lunch. Cabbage, collard greens. And we got something you all would have maybe for, little snacks. Strawberries. So we got fruit and vegetables and the things for a salad. Now what you may want to do is have one bed for each thing. Also, we will probably, let me take these out. So this is the cabbage. And the strawberries, you can see strawberries already starting. This is the are we listening? Yes. This is the lettuce. We got romaine lettuce. Put this over here. This is the collard greens. Who all eats collard greens?
Me.
That's it? Just one person? You don't eat collard greens? And you don't eat collard greens? You don't eat collard greens? You don't eat collard greens? You don't either? Oh my God. And this is the tomatoes.
I eat tomatoes.
Good. Who all eat tomatoes?
By itself?
Well, you can always put tomatoes in anything.
I mean, how do it look?
So this is the cabbage right here. These are the cabbage here. Oh, wait a minute. Cabbage. Oh, bell peppers. Okay. So what we may want to do, because each of these little packets have several plants in them, so we may want to have each bed has just one plant. We can do or two. Now the thing about it, you have to know what plants you can plant by which one, because not everybody makes good neighbors.
Right. Tomatoes need to be almost by themselves because they spread.
So my suggestion would be that we have a plant for each bed. Okay. That would be my suggestion, because they need to be at least 12 to 18 inches apart. I need a pair of scissors to be able to cut open the bag here. And bring it, come on.
I got a question. Can we put the lettuce with the cabbage?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Cause they're kind of similar.
Uh,
I mean,
I'm glad
yeah,
you asked that
long as
question.
they're
Now here,
for enough.
now here is the thing. You can always ask
James.
because there are Google has the information. So I'm gonna type in the question. Can I
can I what?
can I plant cabbage next to lettuce?
Hold it like this.
Okay.
Who had my last bucket?
Micah.
Okay. So you want to read what that says right there?
Yes, cabbage and lettuce can be planted together.
Okay. What all else does it say about that?
Both are shallow-rooted, cool-season crops that enjoy similar growing conditions because lettuce matures much faster. Planting them together is a great intercropping strategy to maximize garden space.
Very good. Okay.
So, of course, we combine the research and the planning and them envisioning that when you grow, you're not just tossing things in the ground. You have to know which plants work together. And you've been doing this as a science for quite a while. So tell me, based on the fact that planting is a science, how did you go about studying the the business of agriculture in terms of what grows well in this climate, when you plant it, as we learned, some crops mature before others, and the lettuce is going to mature before the cabbage, and you got to figure out when you're going to pick what. How did you go about studying that sort of thing? Did you have to take formal classes? Did you study under other farmers? How did you learn?
So I went to a Christian missionary training school, and while I was there, they had a agriculture development like course school there. So I took their class while I was down there in Tennessee. It was in Huntington, Tennessee, and that's where I learned agriculture development. So the man who taught me, he was a farmer from Grenada, and his wife was from Trinidad. And so they taught me the science of growing food along with the preservation practices. And his assistant was an agricultural engineer from Africa. And so learning from all three of them, it was pretty enlightening class. The class was originally supposed to be canceled because there wasn't enough students, but they decided to go ahead with just me and one other young lady, and it was just us two as the students doing the program. And so it was pretty exciting and very insightful. And so before I had left, my instructor told me, just keep learning and don't ever stop learning, just keep um, learning more. And so that's what I did after I left. So after I left there, I started learning the science of renewable energy and solar panels. So I kind of combined them together, food and energy.
Now that's a very important thing, because a lot of people, especially when they're growing year round, they choose to create hot houses where they are growing their food, and they want to power them in a way that is natural. So matter of fact, we were called by some of the farmers in Pembroke, which we recently came back from a journey there to visit with the farmers who have land and are spreading and considering even starting a solar farm, which I'm affiliated with that whole industry. But that looks to be the wave of the future, solar power, because when you're growing, you need electricity. Before we take a break, explain some of the reasons why farming requires electricity and why you can see a cohesion between solar power and food growing.
So the correlation between solar and agriculture, it ranges from quite a few different things. So Some rural areas don't have electricity, so supplementing that with solar and renewable energy devices helps offset the lack of energy production out in those rural areas. So being able to power the farmhouse generators, you even have some solar irrigation systems that allow the plants to get the nutrients and the water and the food that they need. Um, so there's just a lot that goes like into solar that connects it to agriculture in a way. Some people even use solar panels to shade out some of their plants because some plants don't need a whole lot of sunlight. They need a little bit of shade. So what they'll do is they'll put their solar panels up, but they'll plant under the solar panels. And so um, that helps protect the plant from excessive heat and things of that nature. So there's a lot that in store in the future with solar and agriculture being put together and mixed together as one. They call it agrovoltaics.
Agrovoltaics. Yes. Well, that makes a lot of sense, especially because when you look at what farmers need to do in producing food year round and being out in the rural areas where you don't have all of the ready technology, electric lines, and so forth, it makes sense to have other means of powering your operation because it's essential for our survival if farmers are going to grow food. So I can see that this involves a number of industries and a number of disciplines, and it requires for our young people to have a deeper understanding of how things are connected, how all of the industries that we depend on for our survival need to be uh, more cohesive, and we need to be more a part of it and having the skills to operate whatever is necessary, especially when it comes to food production. So we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at some of the things that you teach and how you go about teaching and how people get in touch with you if they want to learn the process, the science, the business of growing food. We'll be right back after this last break. So just stick and stay. Don't stray away. We will be back. We're going to greet our global family joining us from all around the world, and we will be right back. So stay with us.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we want to talk to you and we want you to talk to us too. And we are right now talking to Bryan Lindsey, who is a young farmer who is growing food. Now, we see some of these crops. Tell us about this land and what you produced and what this is that we're seeing that you've grown here. Uh-oh, we've lost our sound.
Okay, I'm back.
There you
So that was
go.
a few years ago in Alabama. So we were growing everything from corn, cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce, black corn, all type of things. And so, yeah, I've done projects in Alabama, Washington State, Tennessee, Illinois, Wisconsin, everywhere. So, that's what you see right there in that photo.
Now, we see you there with the tractor,
Yeah,
and
so
you
I'm
did some
tilling land
heavy
in
duty
Washington
work.
State. Yeah, so that's that was a, I want to say like a somewhere around a 60-acre project in Spokane, Washington.
So Washington State, that's on the West Coast, correct?
Yeah, that's on the West Coast.
What is that? What is the weather like there? How does one? I mean, is it similar to the Midwest where you've got
Not at
seasons
all.
of? Oh, really? They don't have a heavy snow
No.
season?
So the weather was very weird, depending on what part of Washington you're in. So it was really, really hot some days, and then some days it'll just randomly hail, and then one day it snowed, but it was still warm out. Like it snowed in June, but it was like really warm out. Like we were able to walk out with t-shirts on. So having a snowball fight in June, it was kind of weird. So they have some very weird weather up there. But for the most part, in the part that I was in, it was very hot and dry, and they were dealing with kind of a drought issue. It wasn't raining as much like it should have.
Hmm. So now let's see. You have a number of crops here. You got a number of crops that you've shown uh, your versatility. Tell us what these are that we're looking at.
So that's corn. So I'm doing kids programs with nonprofit organizations, and one of the organizations that I'm working with out in the Auburn and Gresham area, Chicago, we did raised beds for the last 2 years, and so I had them grow corn in this raised bed right here, and it's been growing pretty well. And so I meet with them pretty frequently to do solar classes. And I actually just did a solar class for them a few days ago. And then earlier today, I just came back from another agriculture program with kids at the Park District out in the South Suburbs. So this right here, we grew a lot of corn. Most of them sprouted and they're growing pretty big. So the kids programs have been going fairly well for the last several months. Well, actually, last several years. But this year was part of the year that we did the most.
Well, then, that's very impressive because corn is such a major staple in the United States. And when you travel across the country, you will see fields and fields and fields of corn. So naturally, you need the equipment to be able to manage all of that space and all that corn growing. Who harvests the crops once they're grown? When you have fields and fields of corn, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, peppers, all those things, who does the harvesting, and how do people get the hired hands to pick all of that? Is it done by machines? Is it done by people? What are the ways that we actually get the food that comes out of the ground?
So commercially, it's done by machines. Um, in my case, usually my client will do it, or I will do it depending on the circumstances. So the project that I did in Wisconsin, it was a combination of both me and my client um, harvesting the produce that we grew. Um, Now, as far as for the kids, I'm going to have them do it because I want them. I mean, they're the ones who planted it, so I want them to reap the benefit of being able to say, "Hey, I grew this." So it just
That's
everything just circumstantial.
yes. Well, we want children to get the experience because they still think it's fun and it's exciting. We'll show you a little bit more of the Betty Shabazz students, but they are excited about it. So they don't see it as, oh, this is hard work. Oh, I don't want to do this. They think it's fun, which is good because they also are excited when they see the fruits of their labor. They see the food come out of the ground. They eat it, and then they really get the connection. So I'm sure there are schools and other institutions that would like to bring you on and have you teach this skill and maybe even have field trips where people can go out to the farms and see how it's done. How do people get in touch with you if they want to have you come and hold a class or take their class someplace and teach them this process of food growing? How do they reach you?
So they can reach me by email or they can text my number. So my business email is solaraengenics. So it's SOLARENIGNEX And then you can also text my number at 708-582-9246.
Okay, I want to make sure that I have that correct. Solar Engenics, that's SOLAREN
GINEX at gmail.com.
GINEX, Engenics. Okay. At gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will certainly put that on the screen. And one last thing, what is your next project that you're working on now?
So right now I'm managing 6 projects. One with a nonprofit, one with another nonprofit, and one through the park district. And then got some adult classes coming up, and then international project coming up in a few months. So I'm going to be going to Senegal in Africa, the African country, to do some land development projects out there.
So you're going to be going to Senegal, you say?
Yes, to do a land development project for agriculture.
And is this with an educational institution or a government institution?
This is with a client. He has his own food production company, so he's doing some new land development out there. He needs an agricultural developer because he knows about agriculture, but he's not an expert in it. So he brought me onto it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we certainly do appreciate you joining us today and bringing us your skill. And people can reach you at solarengenics@gmail.com.
Yes.
And they can reach you at your phone number, which is 708. And what is the rest of it?
582-9246.
Okay, well, we certainly do want to make sure that we have people reach out for you and call you. I don't know. I don't think I spelled that right. Okay, let's try that again. All right, so that was Solar Engenics. Engenics, all right, at gmail.com and 708-582-9245.
9246.
9246. All right, we don't want them calling the wrong people and getting someone else on the line. because we want them to talk to you. And we are grateful that you have joined us today to give us your wisdom, knowledge, and expertise. So now we got it right, correct?
Yep, that's it.
All right, that's it. Bryan Lindsey, farmer, agricultural expert, solar energy expert. Get in touch with him, have him come and speak to your classes and your organization and your institutions, because we are all about growing what we eat, and you need to grow what you eat as well. So we'll be right back after this last break. A little more on inspiring young people to grow what they eat. We'll be right back after this last break. And thank you so much, Bryan. We appreciate you for all that you do. And we'll be having you back as we introduce you to these young people and get them all excited about growing their food.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushin Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
And we are back, and you are watching the On Air Daily News Hour. I'm Naima Latif, and the On Air Daily News gives you insight on what is happening around the world that is uplifting, inspiring, motivating, and encouraging you to get involved in the transformation of our world. We are ascending into a higher consciousness and developing ways to make the world better by changing the systems that have caused problems and pain and hurt and damage. So things like solar energy, these are real evolutionary steps that are going to change the way we manage the earth and replenish it and sustain it. So young people need to be inspired to get involved with the skills that will change the way they see their future. So we're going to share a little bit more with the Betty Shabazz International Charter School students as they prepare to learn the process of food growth and grow what they'll be eating in the cafeteria this fall so that they can see the real reason why they need to learn. It's in order to create. So let's take a look at students.
What it's going to look like. We'll have
At students who are going to be growing some of these kinds of crops as they prepare the soil in the backyard of their own school and anticipate what the food is going to taste like this fall.
3 rows of lettuce, 3 rows of lettuce. Well, we're gonna have row 3 lettuce, row 3 lettuce, row 3 cabbage, row 3 cabbage.
Mama.
Good morning. Morning. I can't do that right now. I can't handle that. Okay. So we're going to dig a hole where they'll be. You're gonna place them. Let's put the bed in. First, we're gonna put in. We'll put the stick. So this is those who have these. What I want you to do. We're gonna scoop out the dirt and put it.
Aiden.
Like this. Okay.
Aiden.
Make sure you don't. Get him over there. Come over here. Okay. So while you all are doing this, you see what she's doing? Spreading it out. While they're scooping it out, I need you to help spread it out. Hands gonna get a little dirty. That's okay. I need you help to spread out the dirt. Like Use this big shovel, yeah. And give him a small shovel. Use a small shovel to spread. Okay. So you want to do the.
No, Ava, you get that one.
All right.
Then we
Yes.
and then we spread it out. Like this.
So the next, just scoop. You scoop, and they're gonna spread. Okay. Okay. So while they're doing this, scoop out of the bag.
Wait, so I just scoop.
So the next one we're planting, I'll work with them over here with the. I'm Renee. So this is the tomatoes. Want the tomatoes to be in the next one? Yeah. Okay. And then after the tomatoes, over there.
And when you look at the process of deciding what to plant, one of the things we had an opportunity to share with young people was the fact that plants can work together, just like people can work together. And some plants are good because some plants, like onions, may repel the pests that attract other plants. So it's good to plant certain plants together. Some are not good together because they might be attracting the same kinds of plants and same kind of pests, the same kind of diseases. So sometimes you need to plant one type of vegetable to offset the attacks of various pests that might be attracted to another type of vegetable. So farming is a science, and we think about someone like George Washington Carver, who had a spiritual connection to the plants that he grew, and every school child learns about George Washington Carver, and they learn how he saved the South with his growing of peanuts that replenished the nutrients in the soil, nitrogen that had been depleted because of year after year after year of cotton growth. So this agricultural scientist actually saved the South in his understanding of chemistry and how certain plants will reproduce and replenish various nutrients that are needed by soil if the soil is going to be healthy for growing food. And his development of so many different uses for peanuts not just peanut butter, but all kinds of products using peanuts, it really revitalized the agriculture of the South. This African American man who we celebrate and who's had a number of institutions named after him. Of course, we got Carver High School here in Chicago. George Washington Carver really revolutionized agriculture. So if we're going to study a man like George Washington Carver, and we're going to follow in his footsteps the way Bryan Lindsey has done with his work across the nation in Washington State and other states where he's grown vegetables, grown corn, grown the kinds of fruits and vegetables that we eat every day as a staple. If we're going to follow in the footsteps of a George Washington Carver, then we need to also study as he studied and teach our children agricultural science, teach them farming, give them, every school should have a school garden. Every school should have a place where students learn hands-on what they're studying in the classroom. They should be learning how to grow the food that they eat in their cafeteria. Yes, I know schools got all kind of business connections with certain companies that supply the food and the vendors, but what are we really trying to do? Are we trying to make the next generation dependent on corporate farms that don't care if they're feeding them genetically modified organisms, GMOs, so they can become diseased later on in life? Let's take advantage of the intelligence of our children and the excitement and enthusiasm of our children wanting to learn, so that we can teach them what they need to do to create a different world. That's what we are here to do, to usher in a new world, and we can only do that with new thought. And so every school should have a garden where students are learning to grow food. Every school should have some kind of a wood shop class where students are learning how to build. And so many of these programs were taken away. Anytime you are denied knowledge on how to take care of yourself, it's intended to make you dependent, economically dependent, so that you must then work to get money to pay people to do what you really have the power to do yourself if you had the knowledge. It's time for us to change our thinking and empower our children with real knowledge, not memorization of dates and people's names who did some things in the past, but skills, life skills. They need cooking classes combined with the farming classes, because as soon as you grow the food, you need to know how to prepare it in a way that is healthy and good for your digestion. They need to learn the plants that are in their own environment, the things we've been mistakenly calling weeds. So we need to learn all of the things that our ancestors knew and the things that our ancestors practiced when it came to giving us the kinds of information that would help us heal our bodies. So on our website, thefemalesolution.com/pandemic-farms, you can see our whole series on Grow What You Eat. You can see the series that takes us from the beginning and continuing as daily we share the adventures of growing what we eat and learning about the plants that are growing naturally, that are growing to heal our bodies. So we have the power to take care of ourselves, and Mother Nature is giving us everything we need. We just need to remember. And so these are the things that we are responsible for, and there's no reason for us to be dependent. There's no reason for us to have suffering and homelessness and food insecurity when we have all of this land all across the cities. Blank lots, barren lots, or lots full of plants that we don't know their value, and so we ignore them or throw trash on them or spray them with pesticides. We are responsible for the world that we have trashed, and it's time for us to untrash it and turn it into the beautiful garden and oasis that it can be, that feeds everybody who needs to eat to live. And we are responsible for our condition of poverty if we don't look out and see all of these lots and recognize they are there for us to grow the food that we eat. Grow what you eat. That's the mark of a real free person, someone who can sustain themselves. So we look forward to continuing to share with you our Grow What You Eat series on the femalesolution.com/pandemic-farms. We remember back in 2020 when the pandemic hit, people panicked because they couldn't get to the grocery store. And as Bryan mentioned, they were going and hoarding food. Sometimes it's spoiled because they stuffed it in their cupboards, and the food rotted before they could actually eat it. So if we know better, we can do better, and we will have to do better, just based on the fact that the world is changing, and we must make it change the way it needs to change. That means make it sustainable. Power our homes and our buildings and our enterprises with clean energy, solar energy, energy that is sustainable. Repurpose all of those vacant lots that are lying as wasteland, and we can grow food. So we'll be coming to your school, your organization, your community, encouraging you to grow what you eat, encouraging your organization to get the members to be a part of the solar power evolution. Everybody needs to be connected to some type of clean energy source, because this is the way of the future. So we're going to remind you one last time of why we do what we do and what needs to change in our environment: the elimination of homelessness and the empowerment that we can create when we simply make a change. Take a look.
Brother, in which we're doing this documentary for, Douglas Robinson, your death will not be in vain.
He was a heck of a great dude. And I love Doug. Doug loved me.
Just being around him, he had a good spirit. He was a healing person.
They are there.
Get SROs back.
When you give to the poor,
should not be forced out of their neighborhoods when it goes through a period of transformation.
Because there are too many people who are losing their homes to taxes because they can't pay a $1,000 tax bill.
And this is why we do what we do, because we need to end this cycle of homelessness and despair. We have the power to make a change. Let's make it happen. I'm Naima Latif. Come on back tomorrow and join Master Force with Mushem Sut. Until that time, continue to shine your light.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jareth. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.